Back in May, I was watching a video where they mentioned a quote, "Wherever you're at in life, never treat it as a transitory period." And boy, did that get my gears turning. I've been stuck in this phase of just waiting for life to happen, almost forgetting that life is and always will be now. I haven't posted a lot yet, but in my first video that I made a few months ago, right here in this very spot, I talked a lot about my mental state and my dreams for the future. A lot has happened since, but at the same time I feel like I'm still on the same square, you know. Let me try to explain it. By the way, I love this angle for some reason, I don't know why. Time has just flown by. I've been working and hanging out with friends, and then less working, and then more hanging out with friends. Now, all I've really been doing in my free time lately has been working on my album. That's finally out, by the way, just saying. You should listen to it if you want to. I began working on this album over 2 years ago, but I never actually got around to finish it until the end of May. I've been stressing myself out with finishing this album while I expect life to just do its thing magically. I guess I'm naive in that way. Since the album's been something that I've had on my shoulders for the past 2 years, it's something that carries a lot of emotions and memories to it, which kind of inevitably keeps me from moving on from that period of my life. The album, which is following the story of my past relationship, is much more than just about the relationship for me. It's basically like an encapsulation of those life-changing years for me, which always kind of led me to feeling stuck in this bubble of emotions and memories, because the album was always there in the back of my head, nagging me, waiting to get finished. And I had all of these fun projects that I of course love to do, but being a perfectionist eventually led to me having to take something away from my life, and I chose my health. I still hadn't moved on from the life that I had over a year ago, and I still lived in some sort of denial that time hadn't passed. While that might be because it was the best time of my life so far, it's also because I haven't actually sat down with my emotions for such a long time. I haven't healed. But now when the album's done, I can finally start working on myself, my health, my dreams, and the future. Why I'm talking about this album so much is not that I'm begging for you to listen to it, although I think that you should. It's because I wanted to get into the topic of perfectionism. Yes, this needed this whole introduction.
Everybody's falling in love, falling in love. Everybody's falling in love. Everybody's falling in love. Everybody's falling in love.
Alright, time to finish this video. I've moved, as you can probably tell, to the music school that I got accepted to. I just came home from a trip to Stockholm, hence the suitcase. Wow, I haven't spoken English in a very long time. So I'm moving in 2 days, and I haven't done anything to pack yet, so I'm doing that now.
I'm leaving home for the coastline, someplace under the sun. I feel my heart for the first time, 'cause now I'm moving on, yeah, I'm moving on. And there's a place that I've dreamed of, where I can free.
I've settled in for the past 2 or 3 months, so it's been a while since I recorded this video last. Okay, now let's get back to it again. I believe that I've restricted myself from accepting things the way they are and just move on. Your projects are never gonna be perfect, so just do it as good as possible. And for me personally, it's been kind of a gray area. As good as possible has always meant as good as its potential. So maybe I've never tried to reach perfection because I don't want it perfect. I want the potential. And I don't know, maybe that's the same thing. Point is, it's so incredibly frustrating to visualize the potential. I'm talking seeing the end result, you know, every step on how to get there, and then not being able to achieve it. Even if you know exactly how you're supposed to get there, you just can't. You can't just Anyways, my two friends have a podcast where I joined as a guest, and we talked about perfectionism, and I kind of brought up realizations that I had about the album. And the one main thing was that the majority of songs were pretty much done by like 3 months of working on them. I mean, after having the lyrics finished, the only thing left was recording and mixing, right? Right. Eventually, the imposter syndrome kicks in and you start feeling like everything has just been pure luck, and that in reality, I just suck at everything I do. See, it's not that deep, bro. But almost a year ago, I put off the album. I put it on the shelf, tried to focus on other things, other hobbies, and social life. Fast forward a couple months, me and my girlfriend at the time broke up. And what did I do to cope with my feelings? I did what I normally do. I make music. Whoa. But to be able to fully move on from the relationship, I felt like I needed to push out the album for my own good. See, songs aren't just songs. They're an extension of yourself, your emotions, your memories, and your experiences. So if I couldn't let go of the songs, could I then move on from that period of my life? So I picked it up and I started working on it again. And during this process, I realized a quote that I'd heard a few years back. A film never gets finished, it just gets released. And I believe that that can be applied to music or anything really. There will always be something that can be improved, and it will never be perfect. Heck, not even good enough sometimes. But that's okay. At least it's something. So, after reminding myself of that quote for like the billionth time, I decided to set a deadline, 2 months into the future. And what I find funny about that is that during those 2 months, I was more productive than I ever was during the past 2 years. I almost remade the entire album, finishing the stuff that felt off, re-recording vocals, re-recording guitars, re-recording anything, rewriting some lyrics as well, I believe. And I also finished new tracks that I initially weren't supposed to put on the album, but then I decided to replace old songs with, if that makes sense. Yes, it does. And I also made 2 instrumental songs. In that 2-month period, I made more than I had done in the past 2 years, just because I set a deadline. Having that deadline made me forget about making it perfect, and instead made me focus on having something to release, having something to show, having something. I mean, even now, after releasing it, I can't say that I'm fully satisfied with the end result. There are many flaws in the songs that I would still love to fix, but that's the thing. It can't be fixed. But I'm proud of myself for crossing that threshold and accepting that it doesn't have to be perfect. I believe that the reason why music is so hard to let go of is because it's an extension of oneself. So it's one of your most vulnerable creations. Any art, really. So, of course, we want it to be perfect. But sometimes it comes to the point where we overanalyze and overdo stuff, so it instead ruins the beautiful art that we already have. That's what I did. To be honest, I believe that each track were at its prime, like 2 months after I made them. And then I overworked on them and, turned delusional from listening to them too much. And as a result, I can just say that the most streamed song and the most appreciated song from the album was the song that I made in 2 weeks. The song that I had put the least amount of effort into and that had the most raw emotions put into them. Yes, the one that I put 2 weeks into. I hope that says something. For me, it does. It really proved me wrong, and it really proved to me how, as long as it's authentic, people are gonna love it. Authenticity is key. And the ironic thing is that I showed the script for this video to some friends and immediately asked for feedbacks on how to make it perfect. And they told me it was good, but I wanted this video to be perfect. And then I realized what I've been saying in this entire video and laughed at myself. I have a tendency to give advice and not listen to it myself. So yeah, remember, authenticity is key. It doesn't have to be perfect. I don't know how to end this video. Subscribe, like, share this video with people that you believe should watch this video or something. Have a good one. Bye.